Good morning. We're looking toward the east on our Storm Team Skycam network in Fargo, and we're looking at some quiet conditions. If you step outside and look up, you'll see those stars. In fact, Orion starting to make its presence known. It's a winter constellation. When you start to see that, you know it's about time for the colder months to take over. So nice pretty view here this morning of the stars in Fargo. It's a different story elsewhere, so keep that in mind. We'll get to that in a moment. But let's first of all check out those temperatures for anybody who's heading outdoors right now. We're looking at 65 degrees in Fargo. Many of us out west and in the south into the 60s. It's a little cooler up to the northeast where we're more into the 50s, 54 in Roseau and Grand Forks at 59 degrees. There's also some fog in the east. We're at a quarter-mile visibility in Baudette and 2 miles in Bemidji. So some patchy areas of dense fog with lighter wind for now, but that wind will start to pick up as we move through the day today. We're going to see some stronger gusts. So here's a look at the radar and satellite map. Look at all of the area that is nice and quiet. We're starting off nicely this morning in most spots. The one exception is up along the Canadian border in northeastern North Dakota. So we've got some cells here showing some heavier rain, heavier bouts of rain, especially where you see these bullseyes of pink showing up in some of these storms. And in addition to that, some blue indicating a little bit of hail with each one too. So this is in the Rock Lake area, just east of Rolla, and back over toward now western parts of Cavalier County as these move to the east-northeast. So let's turn on the storm tracks with these. And you can see east-northeast, kind of the general movement of them. So they're going to be riding right along the border here. And some of them may be producing a little bit of hail, and look how fast they're moving. One storm moving at 43 miles per hour to the northeast, this one producing perhaps some half-inch diameter hail, and then another moving at 53 miles per hour. So there's some speedsters there, and they're producing some small hail below severe limits, but still something to keep in mind here this morning. So an active morning in that one pocket of the valley, the rest of us looking quiet. Not only here, but in the tri-state area looking quiet for the time being, though we're kind of in the middle of an active period in the forecast. So more storms possible. Not only later this week, but later today, too. We'll get to that in a moment. We do want to zip over to what's going on, of course, in the Atlantic. Here's Hurricane Florence, currently a Category 4 storm, winds sustained at 140 miles per hour with higher wind gusts, 165 miles per hour. So this is an intense storm. You can see there's Puerto Rico there, so it's just about north of Puerto Rico, heading, of course, toward the east coast of the U.S. at about 15 miles per hour to the west-northwest. So that storm looking pretty powerful here. Again, those thunderstorms up in the north we'll be keeping an eye on, and of course the east coast getting ready for the arrival of Florence. Here's a look at our track on this one, moving to the north and west eventually, and right now the National Hurricane Center has it making landfall as a Category 4 storm, which would be devastating for places along the Carolina coast there and beyond. So here's a look at our hour-by-hour planner. We're going to see some temperatures that are into the 80s today, and that's going to help fuel some storms along with some really strong winds too. So 3 things to keep in mind: a windy one, a very warm one, and then eventually this afternoon and evening a line of storms develops and rolls to the east here today and continues to press eastward into the late night hours tonight. I think around midnight things should be quieting down for us here in the valley, so looking a lot better heading into the late night hours for tonight. Heading into tomorrow morning, starting off nice and quiet, and then we see more storms rumble through into the afternoon hours with temperatures in the 70s to some 80s for the day. Notice it's not widespread, but the potential is certainly there for that chance for some rain and thunder coming up for tomorrow as well. And it just stays unsettled into next week. Thursday, Friday, even Saturday, we could see a couple of thunder showers. And then once that's done, it's a lot cooler to end the weekend and to start next week.
Yeah, big change. So enjoy this while we have it.
Exactly.
And the nice thing about this too, though, is like it's still cool in the morning and at night for people who don't like it hot.
Right. You can get out in the morning and do what you need to do and not be sweating for those who hate it.
And I know they're out there. Thank you, Lisa. It's considered one of the biggest farm shows in the Midwest. Coming up next, we're going to check in at Big Iron.